Hello, Ben. Le manoir de Rosemonde, Duparc. Okay, thank you very much. That's very well sung. One thing in general, what is, because it's the first time I'm talking interpretation of French songs for an Indonesian like you, I would like to know what kind of a sonorous perspective you have for the French language.
I think it's more to the, not as bright as Italian, of course, but it's a bit delicate for me. Yeah, it's more different.
Okay, I think everybody understands that. Thank you. Okay, that's fine with me. Thank you. Now about the delivery of verses. Do you know? Because the problem I see the edition here. The poem here is translated and it's put up the notes, but you can't never trust that that's the way the poem was written because it's all in one block. You really have to think that Duparc has written the way it's written normally. So that means 2, 2, 2, 2. You see? Like this, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2. If you don't think that, then we don't have the form. And I said in the conference before, I said the form is very important. For Duparc, it's obvious. I mean, especially for Duparc, when he did L'Invitation au Voyage by Baudelaire, he cut the middle strophe, and we don't know exactly why. I mean, people guess it's because it's talking about the inside of a house, and maybe he didn't want to have anyone getting inside a house, he just wanted to stay outside. But there, as Mr. Robert de Bonnières is not a poet, he was a journalist, very famous, very rich, and a neighbor to Duparc. In the same building in Paris, there were three famous people. There were Vincent d'Indy, composer, Robert de Bonnières, and Henri Duparc. So, and the only two composers I know who wrote music, or who wrote poems for music, are Vincent d'Indy and Duparc. And they're not published. This poem is published, but after the composition, like 10 years later. So we don't really know if it was the original version or whatever. So because we don't have any reference to a poet like Mr. de Bonnières, we have to guess what kind of influence he could have. And if you know who were the musical gods of Vincent d'Indy and Duparc, they're all German people. You know, they were going every year to Bayreuth to listen to Wagner and so on. So even the poems, and Mr. Robert de Bonnières, who was a member of the Wagneriens de Paris, you know, which was a big, still exists, very big gathering of people, freaks of Wagner, you know. And so really think a German perspective, but with the declamation of the French. So one thing I would like you to do is to think that all your are, for me, too close. De sa dent soudaine et vorace, comme un chien, l'amour m'a mordu. It's not short as much as you did, you know. It's not biting the sound in French. You know, it's more looking and saying, oh, ouch. You know, it's not, you know, it's not on the action, it's afterwards. All right? So try to, I don't want you to enlarge the voice. It's just a way of declamation, you know. Not de sa dent soudaine et vorace. No. De sa dent soudaine et vorace, comme un chien, l'amour m'a mordu. Huh? You see, so you don't know what it is. You've never been there. You know? You see? It's dramatic in that sense, you know, not like, okay? And the piano, for me, it's the same. You know, it's orchestrated by Duparc. And have you ever heard the orchestration? Well, you should. No, because Duparc, although we have, as I said, only 17 songs, but there are 7 which are orchestrated. And there are certain notices which would make us believe that he thought of orchestrating them all. So the idea is not to practice the piano as a piano. It's more colors of, you know, for instance, the whole beginning in the orchestration, it's horns. And if you just think horns, then it's suddenly, you know, it's wide German forest, you know, and all that, in the Alps, you know, something really grandiose, you know, something big. Doesn't mean that you have to sound like a Wagnerian singer. It's not that. But the perspective, you know, the idea.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's try. That's good, but don't make. It's not because you're broadening a bit the line that you have to leave the impetus of it, and to think. You know, we have consonants. De is really like teeth. You know, de sa dent, not de sa dent soudaine. So we have 2 D. We have de, and then there, you know.
Yeah.
And then vorace, voracious. It's really like, just think of I don't know, a whale, something. It's really not. It's not it's not a hound. It's really. And the way he's written comme un chien, it's really comme un chien, l'amour, comme un chien, l'amour, not comme un chien, l'amour, comme un chien.
There's a rest.
Yeah, and so you have to understand. That means this rest is not a breathing thing.
No.
It's a mark of something in the speech. De sa danse soudaine et vorace comme un chien, l'amour. Because it's very rare to think love and a dog. Don't you think?
Yeah, we love that.
Good, that's fine. We love love as well. Okay, and comme un chien, l'amour, and l'amour, think really of something, my love.
Yeah.
It's all these D, l'amour m'a mordu, la
Yeah.
3 M's. All of that is really important. In romantic poetry, it's always that kind of work that we have to, so that the ear is always there. Otherwise, it's just, I'm feeling this and I'm doing psychological things. It's not psychological, it's a song. It's not an opera, Okay? Again?
Yeah.
De sa danse soudaine et vorace, comme un chien, l'amour m'a mordu.
Okay? But don't make an accent on the D, though.
Yeah, do.
Because the word is mordu in French. It's not mordu, it's mordu. Il m'a mordu. It's like, not, ta. That's what it is. Da 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 ti. It's not da 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 ti. Da 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 ti. Da da ti. Yan da 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 yan da da da. Not yan da 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 yan da da. No. That's not French. It could not be like that in French. The French is kind of putting the accent in the phrase, and so that means you have to support all the way until mordu, when you start the sadon. I'm going there, and I'm doing the whole phrase, even though I say comme un chien. I'm going there. You see?
Yeah.
And make sure when you do some of the sounds, sometimes don't reclose the mouth. Sometimes, I go soudain et vorace, not soudain et vorace.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Again?
De sa danse soudaine et vorace, comme un chat, l'amour m'a mordu.
Good.
En suivant mon sang répandu.
You see? Song.
This is from mon sang
Yes.
répandu.
Yes. Be careful. Be
Yeah.
careful. Really think all the time. En suivant mon sang répandu, octosyllable. That's what I said the other day. And don't stop until the end. Okay.
En suivant mon sang répandu.
Go.
Va, tu pourras suivre ma trace. Prends un cheval de bois.
Good. Every time you have da 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 da, the first time with trace, you have 3 dots. In French, when you have dots like that at the end of a phrase, that means you can lengthen a bit the resonance of it. It's all the time in Péléas you have that, all the time. 3 dots, lengthen. So, tu pourras suivre ma trace. And the same thing. Si la course ne te harasse. And I think, si la course ne te harasse, you're so tired, you, huh? It's very mean, you know, as if you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, why did you do that? Why? You see, it's very kind of self-punishing. Okay. When you say fondrière ou sentier perdu, you see he wrote fortissimo. How could you do that? You've done the high note before. How could you do that fortissimo when you've done something already? Par was higher, you know? No, I think the idea is to change the way of talking it. As if suddenly the vehemence of it is out. You know, prends un cheval de bonne race, pars et suis mon chemin ardu, fondrière ou sentier perdu. You see, it's really, si la course ne te harasse. It's very mean. It's very mean. And you can't do the end of the song if you're not that way. That means we could always cheat the way of being angry like that. You know? Yeah. And you have to find the ways. Especially when it's fortissimo like that. Just think, okay, the composer has written fortissimo. That doesn't mean, because there is no high A flat or whatever, so what can I do? How could I do that? So I think really, find something. Okay. Directly maybe, no, the bar of prends un cheval. Just the bar. 1, 2, prends. Okay? No, just 2 before. Yam, da-dam, da, prends. Just the bar. Just make sure, don't do the link with chemin, with the N of chemin, chemin ardu, and not sentière, sentier. Yeah.
And
Fondrière ou sentier perdu. I would do fondrière ou. We always can, in French, either cut completely the mute E and re-attack, or link. But there I would say, because it's kind of spoken out, fondrière ou sentier perdu. When you have ou or e, you always have the choice. You know, it's like adding things or contrasting, so you have the choice. But it's up to you. Huh? It's really up to you. Okay. Let's do the last bit. Really think of the phrasing contrary to what you did. If I can, you see? Instead of doing dun, da, dun, 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 it's da, da, dee, da, dee, da, da, dee, da. That's the way he's written it.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, can you do like here maybe? Just here, just before. spoken now. That's really too spoken. Lengthen the notes. En passant par où j'ai passé, tu verras que seul. And that's really, for me, it's really like you're getting, you've been riding, you know, and then you're out of your horse, and it's like, oh, ouch, and it's not, oh, you're not dying. It's like Amfortas, you know. It's really like, I think they all thought about something in Wagner, you know. I don't know what, but there is some Wagner in it, huh? And I'm always thinking that's funny because Duparc, the poem says "En passant par où j'ai passé," and it's really like the composer thinking, yes, that's true. My studies in music, and then Wagner was completely forbidden at the conservatory, and now I can't get rid of the influence of Wagner. Oh, come on, how can I do it? You know, that's something like that. And Duparc was a very strange man, as I said earlier. He died very old, more than 80 years old.
Yeah.
But he stopped writing music early, and he was always ill. He lost the sight, then he lost the ear, but it was temporary all the time. And I think it was really, he was an hypochondriac. And I think it's just because the idea, I mean, that's my explanation, but I don't know if it's right. There are two people like that in the French literature of melody. It's Duparc and Chausson. The two were very close friends. They did not need to write anything to earn their living. They were rich enough. They had parents who had done the richness of the family. So I think they didn't feel themselves as being in the position to be recognized as composers. They were not fit to this emblem. And they were jealous. I mean, Chausson was a very close friend of Debussy, but when Debussy left his first wife, that was the end. And I think, you know, it's just Debussy needed to write music to earn his living. Yeah. Duparc, no. So there was something like, I don't deserve to be a composer. I don't deserve it. And I think that's why a lot of these texts are suffering, not happy, you know. Apart from Fidile, there is no real wonderful sounding positive song. You know? And so go to the end of that. Think die Wunde, you know. Ach, das tut weh. Okay, again. That's very good. Be careful. The loin, I saw them out doing. Oh, really? Really think also. As if you don't stop. It's like, you know, it's really like, oh, like you want to. And it goes to bien loin. It really goes there, bien loin, far from here. I'm not belonging to this world. I don't. You see, it's really, the feeling should be larger than life. Really. It doesn't mean that you have to sing out. No. It's just the feeling. Yeah. We singers have this capacity of experimenting things. Thank God we don't experiment in life. Just think. You know? Okay. Let's do a Cassie, and then we go to the end, because otherwise I'll be punished.
Et quand si je m'enfuis,
Yeah, carry on. Carry on. Less.
Sans découvrir le bleu manoir de Rosemonde.
And this one I would do slightly more bouncing. Like a question mark. Or does it exist? Like, ist das Wahrheit? Oder, you know, like that. And you really have to think Rosemonde, not Rosemonde, Rosemonde, sans découvrir le bleu manoir de Rosemonde. Yeah, so that it's not Rosemonde, but it's Rosemonde. And it's really like ironical, you know.
Yeah.
How could you find a blue thing in a pink world? Let's see. Let's do sans découvrir.
Sans découvrir le bleu manoir.
Yeah. Le bleu.
Le bleu manoir de Rosemonde.
Good. Thank you. That's it.